Let's shift to Bengaluru now. In Bengaluru, even heavy traffic could not delay a dedicated doctor to perform surgery on time. On 30th of August, Dr. Govind Nandkumar, a gastroenterology surgeon, had to leave his car in traffic and run for 3 kilometers to the hospital to perform an emergency laparoscopic gallbladder surgery. He got stuck in traffic at Sarjapur Martahalli stretch that usually takes about 10 minutes to reach. But as Google Maps showed him 45 minutes to reach the destination, he started running. Later, the driver reached with the car after 2.5 hours. So joining us right now is Dr. Govind Nandkumar himself. Thank you, Dr. Nandkumar, for speaking with Mirror Now. Dr. Nandkumar, your commitment to your work is praiseworthy. Tell us what happened on the 30th of August and when did you decide that you have to leave your car and in fact run to the hospital? There is no other option.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I mean, that day was a tough day for everybody in Bangalore city, given the rains the day before. And I was going by my usual commute to Sarjapur from Koramangala and central Bangalore. The traffic was just logger jammed. I think the inner roads were flooded, and so most of the traffic was on the main road. And there was just no movement at all whatsoever. I had surgeries lined up, and I had a surgery to start in the morning for a lady who was in some amount of pain and anxious about the surgery. So I lived in a city previously where I walked to work. So, I just made use of my prior experience, my daily gym and running routine, and said, why not just run and get there in time. I had to cross over. That was a little hazardous to the other side, and then just did what I had to do.
Dr. Nandkumar, Bengaluru traffic is infamous in the country. Have you done this before? Because 3-kilometer run is quite a stretch. Have you done this before, running to the hospital for surgeries?
Well, I can't say I've run to the hospital for surgery before. I have walked, whether it is Hebbal or Yashwantpur. Every so often, we get stuck in these logger jam kind of situations. And I have walked across the railway track from the flyover. Otherwise you're just sitting in the car. In my old city, I used to, sometimes walk to work, run to work. But maybe more of us should start walking and running to our daily routine, because it may ease the traffic situation also.
Doctor, August 30th was a bad day in Bengaluru as it rained, as it had rained earlier. When it rains, the situation in Bengaluru becomes worse for traffic, for commuters. We saw recent floods there in Bengaluru as well. As a citizen of Bengaluru, where do you think the problem lies and what can be done to improve it?
Well, I think, Bangalore is very close to my heart. I'm a very, very strong Bangalorean. I think the city grew very fast from, pensioners' paradise to an IT hub to the lovely city it is now. So certainly there is a need for improving infrastructure, getting better roads, getting more permanent roads, getting walkways. But I think there's also a part that we as citizens need to play, in terms of following what we can do to help the city. But I think it's going to be a effort that should come together with, corporations, hospitals, communities, citizens, and of course the authorities, so that we can, take it to the next level. And you look at Bangalore airport is fantastic. So why can't we do the same with our inner city roads, our inner city, make it livable, make it pleasurable, make it easier to walk. I mean, you can't walk in Bangalore city unless if you want to cross the road, you don't have a dedicated traffic light in a lot of junctions. And I think if it becomes easier for people to walk, to do little things, even the amount of traffic on the street will go down.
Doctor, regarding the 30th of August, the IT companies were on the outer ring road stretch had written to the chief minister saying that they had suffered crores in losses because of flooding and poor infrastructure. They'd even said that the companies may have to look for alternative options and even move out of the city if the situation doesn't improve. Do you think the situation is that desperate in the city?
Well, I mean, I think we have a real problem in Bangalore with the traffic and infrastructure, and I think we need to recognize that, accept it, and find solutions to it. But I also think that we need to look around us. I mean, there are plenty of cities in the world. I lived in New York City, and New York City has traffic jams. LA has traffic jams. I think the big difference there is that the infrastructure that the city provides is robust. So I think we have an opportunity to actually increase and improve our infrastructure and become law-abiding citizens so that we can actually follow the make the city a livable place. But I think we should move away from finger pointing to saying, like, look, how are we going to fix this solution? How are we going to fix the problem and find a solution? Yes. I don't think, obviously people love Bangalore, the climate, the vibrance of Bangalore, otherwise people wouldn't be here. So I think that we need to build the city to an extent where, it's capable of handling this much of crowd. And let's face it, our roads can be better. Our roads can last longer. The real problems have to be recognized.
Yes, just last couple of questions, Dr. Nandkumar. There's also an argument, you spoke about people. There's also an argument that not everything the authorities can do. Citizens have to be conscientious about the city as well. What do you think citizens like you can do to resolve this issue of traffic?
So, I mean, I think, it's just back to the basics, right? You follow the rules, you try to walk on the footpath or the pavement, follow the signal, don't try to break the signals. Sometimes it happens as human error. That's different. But, you don't make it a habit. You see children walking on the street, don't ride your two-wheeler on the footpath, simple things. But I don't want to take away from the fact that even the authorities have to kind of replenish our roads, build robust systems. There is a lot of opportunity to do that. Maybe, the CSR funds of various corporations, maybe they can work with government. Some of the roads maintained by the corporations are fantastic, So maybe we should think out of the box and actually make this happen.
Dr. Nandkumar, you are a doctor, someone who looks after your fitness also. You said that you go to the gym and all of that. So as a doctor, what are the healthy options? You spoke about easier to make it easier to walk. So that's a great takeaway. We should make the city's roads easier for people to walk. Now, do you think there are options like some cities have a cycling days or a certain stretches where traffic should not be there? Do you think those are solutions that can be looked at?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think that it has to work for all, and it has to be, feasible. I think, I think there was an effort to make Church Street a completely, motor-free walking street that exists in other parts of the world. But there are cars that ply on Church Street. So I think walking to work, it does two things. It helps you get in your exercise for the day and ease the traffic situation. I think it's also really tough on kids. My kids travel long hours, and I know several parents whose kids are stuck in traffic for long hours. Some schools shut school for a week. So I think walking and running, Bangalore is thankful. I feel we have more parks than other cities in India. Cubbon Park right now, is beautifully cleaned up. this you have to give to, we always look at the
Yes.
authorities and say, look, you're not doing this, you're not doing, but Cubbon Park is cleaned up. And there are many groups in Bangalore, which I'm a part of, actually, who want to preserve the spirit, the culture, and the heritage of Bangalore, but make it a livable city. So I think if the authorities work with such groups in conjunction with them and help take the city forward, it'll go a long way.
All right, Dr. Govind Nandkumar, thanks very much for sharing your perspective. And as I said, your commitment to your work, running 3 kilometers to perform that emergency surgery on time is really commendable. Thanks very much, Dr. Nandkumar, for speaking with Mirror Now.